How much is your student debt, and what has life been like post-college? My undergrad education, in-state, cost me $22K. My master's for my PA degree in anesthesia cost me $122K. I paid for all of my school myself, which meant taking loans for tuition and working summers winters for housing. When I graduated I had $144K in debt and was paying approximately $900 just in interest. Paying $900 every month to keep owing the same amount of money to someone pretty much sucks. It was daunting, but I worked a lot of overtime. I budgeted my money and was out of debt in less than 5 years. Paying that last check felt really done good. I skimmed and wondered how the frick you paid that. Oh, anesthesia. LODSOVMONE. I graduated with $110,000 from my bachelor's degree. 7 years later it is down to 80 something. As for my life, it has been fine. Luckily I was able to get a job right before the economy took a giant crap, and other than a 7-month span last year eating away all of my savings when I was unemployed, I have made enough money to pay my loans and not have to eat ramen every day. That said, every month when I pay that bill a little bit of me dies inside, knowing how much I'll lose every month and all the cool crap I could be doing and visiting but I can't. Worse yet is the knowledge and super scary feeling that I will never be able to retire, as I cannot even begin to start saving for retirements for another 13 years when I finally get these paid off. Unless I start working a third job to pull in more money. Knowing that this is for the most part my fault and I was a stupid 18-year-old kid makes it even worse. However, it is something I did to myself and I am dealing with it best I can. TLDR. Shoot, scary man. I wouldn't recommend it. This will make everyone feel better. $412,000. Zero contribution from my family. This is from undergrad and medical school. I will never be able to pay it off. About $30K after finishing grad school. My wife's brothers have near 6 figures, but they're lawyers and scientists and will have that crap paid off far faster than my public library salary allows. I can't speak for lawyers, but not all scientists make good money. $100,000 in debt. No undergrad debt. From law school. At this rate, I'll have it paid off in 10 years. I pay about $1,130 a month to service this debt, so about $14,500 a year. Thankfully my job isn't bad. I did get a lawyer job, so I don't have to live with my parents and I can buy my own food. By the way, $100,000 debt I believe is slightly below average debt load for people of my law school class year. Life isn't awful, but I've put off replacing my beta car, and I save absolutely nothing. Think long and hard before you go to law school, kiddies. I'm starting law school this fall and had the opportunity to go to a great school that would put me slightly over $100,000 in debt. I'm choosing the less great but still good school in the state I ultimately want to live in because they're offering me full tuition plus a small stipend. Seeing your comment makes me feel like I made the right choice. It has become a bit of a joke. $28,000-ish from undergrad and around $400,000 from medical school. I needed living expense loans, and tuition is awfully expensive at non-state schools. I'm still in residency, in one of those highly needed low-paid specialties, not able to make payments for another year or so. I get a bit nauseated every time I look at the number, so I try to ignore it as much as possible. You are not alone. I have none because my father, who couldn't afford college as a kid and thus didn't go, made it his life's mission to put his children through college. This has made me debt-free, to which I am now a homeowner at 27. My parents' generosity is not lost on me, and my goal is to give my future children this gift as well. Graduated with $75K, down to $30K 10 years later. I am a high school teacher, and every year around this time I show my older students my student loan account. They see my interest rate, my balance, and most importantly, my payment history. They see the amount of money I've paid in the past that could go to literally anything else. A few students have come to me saying that my talk had a big effect on their college decisions and they appreciate the talk that nobody else has given them. Allowing an 18-year-old to borrow tens of thousands of dollars, even with a cosigner, is dangerous and possibly irresponsible. What you are doing is great. Even with my good degree and comfortable salary, letting an 18-year-old borrow that kind of money is beyond dangerous. Around 30k, I went to a school that did not prepare me at all. Graduation day was destroyed because I kept saying, "There are no jobs. There are no jobs." The keynote speaker even said, "Be nice to your parents. You'll be living with them for a while." It took me a few months to find a full-time job. Temp jobs. My old and reliable cashier job. Then I got full-time as a sales rep for insurance. Got licensed in 4 states. Got fired. I wasn't okay with spitting down people's throats like they told us to. Got offered a lot of hidden sales jobs. Temp agency again after collecting unemployment. Did so well at one place they hired me. Pay is good. Bad benefits. Renting an apartment. Taking a crap on my break. Paid to crap. Living the dream. Graduated with about 60k in loans 4 years ago. I still owe about 38k. I pay between $600 $1,200 a month depending on what I have. Minimum is $500. I want to pay them off in about 4 years. I have car. Went to the Philippines a few times and in total I am worth more than I owe because I save a lot and the stock market is up. Life's pretty good, but I'm definitely not buying a home or making any other major purchases anytime soon. Graduated with about $120k in loan debt between undergrad and masters. Life absolutely sucks post graduation. I'm making an okay salary but still living paycheck to paycheck and often overdrafting the old bank account due to $1,200 month in loan payments. Knowing these loans will likely exist until I retire isn't exactly making me optimistic either. Getting married and buying a house is basically out of the question due to these burdens. I'm constantly stressing about money. FML. Move out of the country. Check out loan forgiveness programs. Crap, IDK man. About 130k in loans. Down to about 118k in 2 years. Just found out I was paying my brother's loans for the past 3 months. I was wondering why I was short on money for a little while. It's zero now, 5 years after graduation. It was $15k, but I made paying that off a priority. Working my job I got with my degree and some part-time stuff on the side. I budgeted enough for food, while subscription, only form of entertainment, and rent. Everything else went to the loan. Dude, congrats. Imo, everyone should make repayment a priority. That's my strategy once I start chewing away at $100,000 with a master's degree next year. $65,000 from a bachelor's. I have already defaulted and had to declare bankruptcy after having great credit beforehand. I can't find a job relevant to my degree and work front desk at an office for $12 an hour. I don't know how I'll live if and when they start garnishing my wages. Apparently the cure to this is to move to Europe like the guy above this thread did. I got to BA in French while working full-time in a grocery store, mostly closing shifts. Graduated without any debt, was then recruited into an MA language program at the same university and tuition was waived in exchange for me teaching a beginning language class. I really wanted to be a high school French teacher, but when I finished the graduate program I didn't have the requisite teaching credential to get a job. That being said, I had a master's degree and zero college debt. After a few years working at the grocery store and teaching night classes at the community college, I got into a master's in teaching program at a small liberal arts college that catered to working students. The time off of work killed my finances, and the subsequent loans left me about 20k in the hole. I was hired after a summer of pure heck and immediately started paying down the loan. It was a lean couple of years, but it took me about 2.5 years to get back above water. My skimping and saving has allowed me to save for a house and generally be better at finances. I regret nothing. I started my education in Arizona and ended up in Utah. I currently live and work in Salt Lake City. I am kinda sorry that you are a teacher in Utah. They pay jack crap here. Thank you for being a teacher though, especially high school French. About 20k, associate's degree from IT Tech. I've never been able to find a job in my field. Going to college is the biggest regret and have in my life. I currently make okay money and will probably just stay here. After getting my BA, I had $90,000 between 2 federal loans and 1 student loan. I just recently had to consolidate the loans into one because of a variable interest rate on the bigger loans and a crazy amount of money to pay per month, over $1,000 a month. Now I have a fixed interest rate that's somewhat alright, and an extended pay period, but I'll end up paying somewhere around $120,000 by the time it's all over, aka when I'm 99 years old. Big FML. Seriously all, you want a tip? A community college degree is just as fine as a state college degree. I just learned this lesson the hard way. My student debt must be over $60,000. For a degree at a state uni, I outright stopped paying my loans after I missed a payment and it was referred to collection with a $5,000 punishment fee attached. So I just picked up and moved to Europe, where my loan is for all practical and legal purposes uncollectible. I have a nice job, house, family, credit cards, and all the nice stuff they say you'll never be able to have if you default. I worked in summers like a madman, with no standards. I'd do any job and work any hours. I also had serious tuition benefits, but I ended up with only a couple grand in debt and paid that off within 6 months of graduation thanks to working a factory job for a bit. I then traveled for a bit, came back and within a month found a job in my field. I've now been working in my field for 7 months and I'm so happy about it. I really never planned anything out. I just went with the flow and everything worked out beautifully. Depends. Post-university, I had a lot of debt and no jobs. 2 years later I went to community college for IT and graduated debt-free with a job. Right now I'm on Reddit in between tickets, drinking free coffee and eating free trail mix. Life's good. Those right chips though. I'm still in college. This is technically my second attempt. After my first attempt, 2 years, full-time, I dropped out with I think around $20,000 in debt from a private university. I was lucky and my grandma hated my mother, so I was left some money from a trust fund and was able to pay it off in full once I turned 21. I went back to a different private university 3 years ago and was able to pay the first year and a half in cash, with the rest of the trust fund. Now I'm $23,000 in debt, with 2 more years to go. Part-time student. I try not to think about it, because it gives me crippling anxiety. I fully expect to be at least $50,000 in debt by the time I graduate, and I expect to make around $40,000 a year for several years. Graduated with a BS in computer science with $36,000 student loan debt. Just started paying this year so still $36,000 to go, but I got a job right off the bat paying $50,000 a year. Thankfully I don't have too many monthly expenses so it doesn't bring me down too much. They say high school college years are the best in your life. I want to smack any person in the face that says that. I absolutely do not regret the path I have chose. I am enthusiastic in my career and it helps me in my work. However, I'm glad that I no longer have to worry about petty assignments when I can now learn subjects in IT that I want to learn that will actually help me with my career. Happy to live in the Netherlands, where this crap is paid by the government. I graduated with my bachelor in 2008 with $63,000 of debt. Got a job offer from a Fortune 50 company. Offer was retracted due to the economy. Went back to school in 2010 for my MBA. Same company found me again in 2011 and re-offered. This time accepted. Worked 3 years and maintained a regular lifestyle. I paid the loans off in the summer of 2013. Now making almost 50% more with no other debt. I have disposable income, many investment accounts, a home with 40% equity and plenty of toys. I was not even that smart in school. I'm just a persistent fair. Go after what you want. You can have it. I was not even that smart in school. I'm just a persistent fair. You have to no idea how nice it is to hear this as a student currently struggling to finish his BS. About $55,000, from which I said frick it my senior year. CDL and willingness to swing a hammer have helped far more than my bachelor's would have. 20k plus left after 5 or so years with average of 5.5% and no degree. Tending bar now and have never been happier. The current mandatory college at 18 is retarded and hurtful to everyone. Roughly 10k. Left school to go to technical school allowing for a better job. No bachelor's degree. Considering returning but I don't know if it's worth the debt. I have about $110k US. My undergrad was about $80k plus a loan I took out for supplies and rent for about $15k. My PhD only cost me about $15k as I had several grants, mostly lab costs that I had to pay for and rent. I live in New Jersey. I'm working now, but still live in parents' houses, can only just scrape by with the monthly payments. I try and save every cent I can. My boyfriend is lucky. His parents had a college fund and he's getting his little brother's as he just dropped out. He will only have about $25k in debt when he graduates. Eventually I will have a higher note paying job that I can pay more and finish it sooner, but it's really killing me on the inside. A lot of the people I graduated with had no debt coming out of their bachelor's degree. They are buying houses and doing investments and doing all that adult stuff that I can't afford. £15,000. Rather than the £9,000 a year courses I went with the £5,000 a year. No other help other than tuition fees. Hardest 3 years of my life. I now work in an industry where my peers landed the job because they know someone or their mum and dad are involved. I did everything myself. Every opportunity I did myself. Now the university want me to go in and show the students that a degree can help get a job like mine. Number. Hard work and determination get you it. Don't put your money into that place you literally receive nothing. Not talking about all degrees and unis. Just my one. Never again. $121,000 for graduate school. $5,000 for undergrad still. Been out almost a year. $1,500 a month in loan payments is tough, but I am making 6 figures and doing a job I love. My student debt is zero, because most of my tuition was paid for by the military's GI Bill. I still had to pay a little, though, because I had some college before I joined. My wife's student debt fell under 10 grand last year, and we've been out of college for almost 15 years. She doesn't work. I support her and 2 kids. It hasn't been that much of a financial burden. Just annoying to be paying something down that she's not using. I sure would like to have that money freed up, though. This story won't be popular. I came out of college with zero debt. Didn't go to school in the US so my tuition was pretty cheap. Paid off my few loans with just the money I earned from engineering internships. Had a bunch of money left over as well. Summer after graduation I used that leftover money to travel the world with zero financial obligations, some good friends, and a job already lined up. Probably the best experience I'll ever have. I basically lucked out. As a drama major at a top theater school who will have racked up $60,000 in debt by 2017, I'm sure this thread is going to be encouraging for me. Drama major at a top theater school. You hop. $0 BA and MA in psychology. My mother, who is poor and lives in Trailer Park, and I worked through my school and paid for community college and state school. I worked 30 hours a week since freshman year while maintaining an 3.7, 4.0 in grad school. I was accepted to 2 PhD programs and will going to one this fall. Will not be needing any loans since the program is fully funded and then some. Won several fellowships. Same story with my brother. No loans. Works as an electrical engineer for one of the biggest tech companies. Making boatloads of money with no loans to pay off. Moral of the story. Work through your degree if it's possible. Save money ahead of time. Go to community college and state school. Kick butt. Roughly 60k. Split right down the middle between federal and private loans. I'll let you know in a few months when they start collecting fully. 6-month deferment. Ultimately I'm out of debt now. After waiting 5 years living at home with no quality of life and paying off every cent of that 65k. My degree didn't help me get a higher paying job or open many doors. In actual learning, I didn't learn anything in college I didn't already know or would have been able to pick up had I seen it myself. Honestly, College is either entirely not worth it or we need to drastically restructure the value of an education, because IT is not what these universities are charging. I have about $100k in debt, after a half scholarship and a Pell Grant for this middle class white guy. Frick yeah. Anyway, I got a sweet job now, and I'm gonna crush my loans. Frick it, I'm not going to be. I knowingly took the loans. Time to pay my debts. But if you all somehow get student debt forgiveness to be a real thing, I'm gonna jump all over that. Cause then I can buy Versace sofas. Only about 8.5k left. Forgot what I started at. Life has been interesting. Have had a few jobs but none in my field as a mechanic. Mostly stuff sorta relevant to it. Moving on to Parks and Rec soon though. 20k. I graduated in December. Still no job. But I'm living with my parents and still have 3 months left of deferment. Basically my only problem is my lack of motivation for now. BTW, if you know anyone looking for an EE major, let me know. I lived at home through school and worked during college. I got out with 95k, but I was going for a degree in pharmacy, which pays 100k plus. I paid them all off in my 4th year out of school. I could have done it sooner but I had to buy a car, invest in retirement stuff, etc. So I guess the key is don't take out more loans than you can bring home with the career you are going for. I didn't choose my profession based only on interest in the subject. I spent time researching how much money I could make, and wrote down how long it would take to be debt free. I guess I was a strange 18-year-old. Everything is going according to plan though, and I should pay off my house in 5 more years. I have been only working 30 hours per week, so I make 85k per year, but I have been out of school for almost 8 years. I know I am lucky, but I have to stress that this was planned luck. I looked into many careers and found one that I was good at, and would make an amount I was going to be comfortable with. Plan well. I know I'm going to sound like a dong, but both my parents worked the state university I went to, so my first few years cost 2k total. I aged out of the program, but by then I had a 45k job and could afford the $2,500 payments on my own. As a result my debt is $0. Moral of the story is, if you don't think you can afford your child's tuition, work at a university. $56k, and I've been deferring it because I made a few poor financial decisions, particularly wanting to live alone in the same college town that I attended school at and grew up in. I'm not sure if prices are hiked up in every college town, but in this area if you aren't a student, in the service industry, or working at the university, it's good to move elsewhere. Too expensive here. Also I don't have much direction in my life, so even though I'm a hard worker, work 50 plus hours a week as a manager in one of the busiest kitchens in town, I haven't been able to focus my energies into something very lucrative. Oh, except I'm going to Japan to teach English, something I was able to do because of my degree. I got a BA in the Netherlands and had a really well paid student job. Unfortunately I made many questionable choices in life, so that I'm left with around 7k in student debt. Have been unemployed since graduation and I applied for an MA program abroad where I'll have to take a loan of around 7k. I never wanted to be caught in this debt trap, but sometimes it's necessary to invest in yourself, I guess. Just hoping that this decision will not be one of the bad ones. Currently getting free associate sponsorship. I work full time to pay for rent and stuffs and go to school 3/4 full time. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video. Bye for now.